Hey guys, welcome back to our December fitness challenge where we're working on core strength and stability. So today we're going to be doing our 5 core exercises 3 times through with 30 seconds resting, 30 seconds working. So our first exercise for today is going to be tabletop. So we're going to get into our hands and knees for the starter position. So let's get on those hands and knees. Again, with our hands, we're going to be placed right under our shoulders so that we are in the correct form. Then we're going to be bringing up we're going to be raising up off of our knees. It's called a tabletop because my back should be flat. Your back should be flat to where it's like a table. So let's get back into that position. And you kind of want to make like a square shape with your body. So we're going to raise up off the ground and we're going to hold just like this. So we're going to be doing that for 30 seconds. Ready, set, go. So for this exercise, make sure that your core is nice and tight. Make sure we're breathing. Try to stay up. All right, good job, guys. So for that one, you'll probably feel that a little bit more in your upper body as well, but you'll definitely feel the tenseness in your core. It won't be a burning feeling like you're doing sit-ups or anything like that, but you'll feel tenseness, which means those muscles are contracted and you're working. All right, now we're moving on to the next exercise, which is pelvic tilt. So this is similar to a glute bridge. So we're gonna start off on our back. Now this is a great exercise for people with very low mobility and who just want to start working on strengthening, especially that lower abs. So we're going to lay flat on our backs, hands off to our side. We want our feet about shoulder width apart, lined up with about where our legs are. Okay, for this, we're going to start off in a tilted position. Okay, so if you look at my hips, we are down. You see that my hips are kind of like rested here. For the tilt, we're going to kind of like push them up in a tilted, upward tilt. So I'm starting here. Then from here, we're just going up. Back down, make sure we're keeping that tilt in, up. Back down, and when we're going up, we're squeezing our muscles, so this is an exercise that exercises the glutes as well, but pay attention to how it feels in your lower abdomen throughout this exercise. It's kind of like I said before, a tense, it's like a small contraction. It doesn't necessarily burn there, but you can feel those muscles working. Okay? Ready, set, up. Make sure that pelvis is tilted. All right, good job, guys. That's our 30 seconds of working that pelvic tilt. And now we're resting for 30 seconds. Then we're going to be moving to our next exercise. So while you're resting, I'll get into showing you what we're doing next. So we're going to get on our sides. So we're going to be doing both sides for this. I'll show you both sides. Okay, so we want our shoulder right over our elbow for this exercise. Usually put our hands out nice and flat. With our legs, we're gonna put both of our legs right on top of each other, same with our feet. Now this is pretty much a side plank. There are different ways you can do a side plank. This is more side plank pulses, basically. There's a more advanced way to do it, but I think that this is a good start for us. So, bending our knees. We're gonna start with our hand nice and flat, and we're literally gonna be picking our hips up off the ground. So, back down, and we're gonna be doing that for 30 seconds. Then we're gonna switch and do the other side. The more advanced way, just if you're curious or if you wanna try it, to do a side plank. Sit on this forearm, and hold your body up. Now this takes a little bit more work than the first way I showed you. So let's get our legs bent. Make sure our elbows over our shoulder. I like to put my hand on my hip, and then we're gonna start our pulses, okay? Ready, set, go. Now it's okay if you have to adjust your hand and elbow throughout the exercise. Sometimes that happens. All right, good job, guys. So now we rest. Then we're gonna go into that other side. So just flip on over. Line that elbow and arm up. You may have to adjust it. Foot on our foot and our knee on our knee. And then we're going to be getting those hips off the ground. Ready, set, go. And when you get to the top, you want to hold it for about a second and a half. And you're going to lower back down. Nice and controlled. Make sure we're not plopping down. All right, good job. So now we are resting for our 30 seconds. Next exercise is going to be the pelvic tilt again, but we're going to switch it up a little bit. So while you're resting, I'll start demonstrating the next move. Going to be on our backs. So this can be considered a little bit more difficult than, well, it is considered more difficult than just your normal, regular pelvic tilt. So again, I'm going to be starting with my feet about shoulder width apart. Hands are going to be to my side. I'm going to, remember, get my pelvic tilt tick all ready to start off. And I'm going to get up off the ground, and I'm going to raise my leg up. Back down. Back down. So for this exercise, you want to make sure that your arms are gonna they're gonna work a little bit in this exercise, because you kind of have to use them. They assist you when you're up off the ground and you're raising that leg up. So just make sure they're nice and planted on the ground, not just resting as if we're doing a normal pelvic tilt. Let's get our feet shoulder width apart, and then we're going to do for 30 seconds. Ready, set, up, back down, down, All right, good job, guys. So you'll also feel that in like your hamstrings, flexors, other muscles. But you should feel it in that core as well. All right, so now we're resting. So our last exercise is gonna be a crunch, but not your organ. So let's get back in this position. So for our people who don't know, a sit-up is where you sit all the way up. A crunch is kind of like where you're crunching. Some people do it with their, let's do it with our hands behind our head, and I'm just crunching, and you have all these muscles in here contracting. So we're gonna be doing we're gonna be doing this twice, because we're gonna be doing it with raising one leg off the ground. So one of our legs are gonna be bent, other one we're gonna be holding. Again, for anything where you have to hold your leg out, you wanna keep your leg as straight as you can. If you can't keep it that low to the ground, then you raise it up a little bit more. The higher you raise your leg, the less pressure it puts on your core. But we want to challenge ourselves, so make sure it's not straight up. Try to have it out at least a little bit. Okay? So we're going to put our hands, interlock your hands, place them behind your head a little bit. Get those elbows out. Remember, one leg is bent. We're going to start with the other leg straight. When I say go, we're going to start our 30 seconds. We're going to raise this leg off the ground and we're going to crunch up. Okay? Ready, set, go. And make sure your toe is flexed. On this foot that's out, make sure your foot's not hanging loose like that. We want our toe to be pointed towards the ceiling. All right, good job, guys. So now we're going to take a couple seconds to rest before we get into that other leg. Okay. So again, remember, now we're doing the opposite. So whatever leg was just straight, you have that one bent. Start with this one as straight out as we can get it. Lock those hands, place it behind your head. Let's get that foot flexed and up. And then we're gonna start with our crunches. Ready, set, go. We wanna make sure our hands are behind our head to help us. That doesn't mean we're pulling on our neck. They should just be resting back there. There should be no pulling going on to get up. You should be using all core strength. All right, good job, guys. So that is the last core exercise for today. Remember, we're doing 3 sets, so you still have 2 more to go. And I'll see you guys next week.